Earthlings, wisdom keepers, wisdom seekers. Welcome back to WizdomDropz, your source for daily drops of wisdom and savvy cat astrology. My name is TONIA Lasagna, back with another video, layering together all the nodal noodles and celestial sauce that is something digestible for you. And today we are discussing the Leo full moon, yes, through all 12 signs. That's right. I'm specifically going to be going through all 12 signs today, just giving you a little bit of a 5-minute reading overview, specifying some of these like details that are just really hard to kind of talk to at a general level. And we're going to go through two different things, okay, with each sign. First thing is the Leo full moon and that axis of the Leo Aquarius axis in your chart, right? The second thing that we're going to look at for every single sign is the fact that this full moon is squaring the nodes. And this is a really intense energy that I want to talk about a little bit at the beginning, just for your general understanding. So make sure you check out this beginning overview of how to understand the full moon energy and the nodal squaring thing before you see your portion of the video for your ascendant sun and moon. Sorry if my camera's moving, my cat was just like playing under my laptop, so there's that. But anyway, we're gonna look at that, okay, as a team. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. And before I do, make sure you like this video. If you're new here, subscribe, okay? Everybody just go ahead and like, though it really helps the channel grow. And just so you know, I'm offering a groovy special right now, 1-hour horoscopic readings for only $100. Y'all, I'm a 12-year-old astrologer. You know what I'm saying? I've been an astrologer for 12 solid years outside of all the years I've lived on this planet. So that is saying something. I am seasoned and croissant in my craft. I'm obsessed with astrology and I provide you one hell of a reading. So this, my friend, is a deal. This is specifically for Scorpios, number one. So if you are a Scorpio, ascendant, sun, or moon, go ahead and get that. It's just for you understanding your personal Scorpio blueprint. Number two, it is for SYNASTRY. So if you are somebody who has somebody in your life who is, a romantic or not, and just even like a friend or a homie who you want to understand your connection with at a deeper level, or a child or a parent, and you want to understand, why do I have this relationship with this person? This is a great time to get this reading. I'm going to be going in for an hour, undivided attention on just your charts. I'll be using, for any nerds out there listening, the SYNASTRY chart and the composite chart. That's right. I'm using two types of charts for your hour-long session, just about y'all. Very excited about that. WizdomDropz@gmail.com. All Z's down below. In the comments, in the description, I got you the information, baby. Reach on out. So let's look at this and look at this. Okay, y'all, first things first, we got to overview these things. Full moon, what does it mean? Before we get to your specific sign. If you already know this, fine, deal with me for 30 seconds or less. Now, the full moon event is going to be showing you a maximum kind of like radiation of a reality that you haven't been kind of up on at that level before. It's going to be an intensified kind of expression or manifestation or kind of outward awareness based reality is the point. You're going to be like aware of something that you weren't previously up on, you know what I mean? And so that is what a full moon is. It's like a culmination thing you hear people talk about oftentimes, and it is a culmination because when you witness and look at the moon, it's a culminating period, right? Because it grows, it's like fully itself at the full moon. And so if the moon is a reflection of our consciousness, as modern day astrology, practitioners would like us to think of it as, then when it's full, we're seeing something like we've never seen it before. And it makes itself known at a material level because the moon is also a material girl, similar to Venus. She rules the material realm, you know what I mean? Period. So that's just what you need to know about what is the full moon. So it's going to tell you about a particular part of your life that you weren't previously aware of before, based on the house that it's in, which I'll be doing for y'all individually in a moment. Now, the second thing you need to understand collectively before we get into your individual chart, or your individual sign, I should say, far less nuanced than your chart, but you know what I mean, is, okay, the squaring to the nodes. This is important. You see here how the North Node is currently at 27 degrees of Taurus, and this full moon is also happening at the tail end of fixed signs, but the other fixed signs, Leo and Aquarius, 27, 28 degrees, whatever it is, within a very tight degree orb. So the fact that this lunation is occurring within that very tight degree, you know, range, excuse me, did I say conjunction? The square is happening, okay, within that very tight range. It really intensifies the let's say manifesting ability of this all the more. In ancient astrology, we understand, right, through the ancient astrology, that the square energy is a manifesting energy. If you look at the temples of ancient Egypt, I love to reflect, you know, how deep this stuff is in our ancient awareness, because as you watch the hieroglyphs of the ancient pyramids, whenever they're talking about ascending in consciousness, the people in the picture will walk up a wall. It appears it's a 90-degree shift, okay, and that's what this astrology 90-degree, you know, square energy is also. It's a sort of shifting in consciousness and awareness. It's a manifesting degree, right, out in the real world. So the fact that the nodes, which are these karmic points of the moon, right, this is a sort of fate and fortune, you know, intersection. This is a sort of, if it was meant to be, it is. This is a sort of, it's gonna make itself known, whatever it is, because it something was, you know, gonna happen. It's very like intense for the reason that it's manifesting, but it's additionally intense for the reason that it has this karmic undertone to it, you know, with like the nodes being where spiritual evolution exists. It's almost the little horseshoe nodes here, they're almost like the points of the soul's progression and growth and soul-based yearning, you know what I mean, at any given moment. So yeah, now we're going to get into all 12 signs and really reading, what does this mean that the North Node in Taurus and the South Node in Scorpio is here, and, you know, specifically squaring this full moon in Leo, opposite Aquarius at this time. So buckle on in and let's get started. We're just going to start with Gemini, since you're on the ascendant. Okay, so Gemini, ascendant, sun, or moon people. Okay, and if anybody wants to do timestamps for your girl, I would appreciate you so much. Go ahead and put them down below if you're going to do that, because that is groovy and that helps everybody. But Gemini folk, let's read for you. So Gemini, first things first, you have a full moon in Leo. That's your third house. You have a lot going on mentally as it is, honey. But let's be real, your mental brain space is going to be like absolutely just effulgent with creative ability. It's just going to be overflowing like a volcano with creative ability and prowess. And Gemini, you might find that like you're really not even able to sleep, or like you really are not even able to like stop thinking ever right now. Like your brain just might feel like it's absolutely on fire. But the fun thing about it is that that's just it. It feels sort of fun. It feels really fun for you. It's in the third house of Leo. It feels like you're enjoying it, because Leo is a play sign. It's a joy sign, and it's a creative sign. So if you're an artist, Gemini, or anybody who's in like graphics or any kind of creative expression, right, as a Gemini, you could do like really interesting projects right now, or you could be doing just really interesting like heart-centered expressions of like communicating your higher belief systems and philosophies to the world as well, because you do have that Saturn with the sun opposing this lunation. Now, Gemini, this whole thing here, squaring the nodes, okay, this North Node in your 12th house, this is a spiritual energy for you for the next however long, you know, a while, a minute. This just started, and you got done with that, you know, experiencing it in your first house for so long. But now it's time to spiritualize. That's really what you're entering. You're entering an area of spiritualization, and you really need to kind of use your mental abilities with the South Node in Scorpio, which is your natal 6th house, you need to just kind of use those gifts that you've been given naturally as a Gemini, ascendant, sun, or moon, and turn that into a spiritual practice for yourself. And also you could consider how to like use this if you wanted to go and for the next, year, you could really put in some powerful work around this, Gemini, going and turning this into like a sort of faraway destination business pursuit, like overseas or related to something very like distant and foreign from whatever is native to you, seeing as the 12th house is like totally this outlandish, like, where am I sort of bewilderment energy. So you could really work with that and leverage it by using the South Node in the 6th for your highest and greatest good. Gemini, I'm offering 1 hour, $100 readings for a very limited amount of time. WizdomDropz@gmail.com, all Z's down below if you want to get a SYNASTRY reading from me. 1 hour of my undivided attention on your chart and somebody special in your life, whether that's a platonic friend, a homie, a relative, a partner, whatever the case is. It's 1 hour. I use your chart in SYNASTRY and composite form, and you can reach out to me and schedule that accordingly. Down below are the details. And like this video if you haven't already, Gemini. And if you're still here with me, I'm going to take a cue from Ms. Groovy, oh my God, Soul and Vibration. She's so groovy if you haven't seen her channel. And I'm going to start asking y'all to leave me little signatures at the end of my thing. And you should check out her channel because I think she is a Gemini. She's really interesting and beautiful and a good person. But from what I can tell, I don't know her. But anyway, leave me a blue heart, Gemini, if you're still here because it's cute. Okay, let's move on to Cancers. If you are a Cancer, ascendant, sun, or moon, this is for you, okay? So Cancer people, this is a big deal energy, okay? You have a full moon in your 2nd house. This is all about money, resources, finance, and yes, self-worth. Self-worth, sense of self. And by sense of self, I don't mean like, who am I? I mean like, what am I worth? What's my value? Like, do I have value? So Cancers, are you putting yourself, have you been putting yourself in a situation where you've been undervalued? You've been like a sacrificial contributor to somebody else's wellness. If that is the case, Cancer, you will be aware of it now. We talked in the beginning and I told y'all to listen in the beginning to all the overview of these individual things, so I will not repeat it, okay? The meaning of the full moon. But if you are listening to that and you're combining it with what I'm saying now, you're like, oh snap, I'm really going to be aware of like this right now in my life. And it's true, Cancer. Another thing is like how you could be making more financial gain for yourself with that full moon in the 2nd. It's really culminating something there as well. And for that matter, this might not be an awareness of how you can do it. It might be the product. It might be that you're now reaping the rewards because it's again a culmination of sorts. And sometimes the moon is not just a consciousness indicator, but she's the material indicator, as we talked about in the beginning. So I think that, the 2nd house for you, Cancer, is going to mean a lot in regards to the sense of really like owning up to yourself, owning up to something private within your personal little clamshell. And a lot of times when you're a Cancer who's opened up to other people, to like be around that clamshell or inside your little like home that you've built for yourself, there's like a sense of like, oh, well, now you're mine and I have to take care of you. So just be aware of that and be aware of like centering back into your heart at this time. With this axis being lit up in the 8th house, I hope it's not anything more like loss oriented or anything like that. But I wouldn't be worried as much about that, Cancer, as I would be focusing on the sense of heart-centered love for how you're balancing your energy and others' energy. That's really what I'm picking up on looking at this. The other thing I would say with the squaring the nodes, the second part of this for you, Cancer, would be, these nodes are you're gonna be dealing with this for a minute, and these are, the North Node just moved into your 11th house, which is really nice that it got the hell out of your 12th. You know what I mean? I think we were all done with that the last year and a half. But I think that, you know, for you, this is really positive because the 11th house is this sort of friendly networking kind of group oriented energy. And even if it's not so social, because maybe you're a more private Cancer, which it could be very social and network based over more ancillary connections, like an internet connection, you know, versus an in-person connection. Or a network-based connection, Cancer, within your network. It could be a very good auspicious indicator there over this lunation event and how it's squaring. It could really be activating this energy for you at this time. You could be getting additional downloads at this time, right? On this stuff. So how to use and leverage your networks, who to work with within your networks, who wants to work with you and is asking you currently to work with you in your networks. And if it feels right, this is likely a good thing that's taking place right now that you should really lean into. Do you understand? Based on the energy. So there's that. Another thing to think about is the fact that this is the South Node is in the 5th house. You're going to be pulling from an inner wisdom, and I encourage you to consider doing that over the next, you know, however long, especially at this time, from a place of creation. So your 5th house in this instance as a Cancer is where the South Node is. So you have a certain ability at this time where you're able to tap in maybe a little more naturally to what it is that brings you romance and pleasure at that level. So again, it's a really nice shift in the nodes for you, and it's not a bad square energy to have, because you, at the worst case, I think you're going to be creating, Cancers. I see this as a very creative, productive time for you as a Cancer ascendant, sun, or moon. And it could be that you're creating something that has the, you know, the byproduct of value, and maybe you're an artist or a crafts person. I've seen a lot of Cancer like carpenters and stuff like that, you know, but you could like definitely be somebody who's building something or constructing something. What if it feels like a playful, joyful sort of hobby, and it ends up coming back 2nd house, full moon in Leo, to benefit you financially through that sort of South Node in the 5th. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt point. South Node, 5th house, creation, and you know, the 11th house, networks. It could end up benefiting you in your networks. You could be known for that sort of thing in your networks. So there's that interpretation, Cancer. Cancers, I know you care about people in your life. I am offering very limited time basis, okay, 1 hour synastry composite report readings for you and a special someone in your life, whether that is somebody romantic or platonic, and somebody in your family or somebody you just care about and you want to understand your relationship deeper. You're like, Tonya, I know we got stuff going on, girl, and I want to understand it at a deeper level. I'm available for that. 1 hour readings, $100, WizdomDropz@gmail.com down below. That is a very limited time offer. I want to be sure to give you if you're, you know, into that for the time being, Cancers. Also a Scorpio one going on, but we'll talk about that more at Scorpio time. Okay, so let's move on to Leo. If you are a Leo, well, aren't you lucky having your full moon, Leo ascendant, sun, or moon on your moon? Leo, this is a big deal energy for you. You really typically only get 1 full moon each year, okay, Leo ascendant, sun, or moon. And, you know, the thing about this is it's really your time to shine. And I know you like hearing that, but it's just the truth. I mean, I'm really not like telling you anything you don't know, but like it really is, because it's the time where the moon comes back to really reflect its light on that Leo 9 energy. So if you are, you know, you feeling it, and I do mean like in your feels, you know what I mean, that's a good thing, Leo. It's a good time to do that. You should definitely be like allowing yourself to some heart-centered awareness, because everything related to you is open for change. It's open for awareness. So even if what you find upon illumination, Leo, is not so pride worthy, maybe you're finding something that you know needs to change now that you weren't really aware of before. Understand that it's your time to shine, and that it's your time to super like work through that, like transition through that, and like a true, you know, force of light, you know what I mean, like work through it and get through it and rewire, like commit to rewiring that thing, or commit to like making some type of like, you know, action. I mean, if you're ruled by the sun, you have to have some juice, you know what I mean, as a Leo. So as a Leo, you should really have the ability no disrespect. I'm just kind of like, well, own up, Leo, you know what I mean? To change a little something if you're aware of it. Now, on the flip side, I'm going to go back to if you're, you know, just acknowledging like, wow, I'm like, you know, really good at this thing, and like you're in a healthy alignment with that and a balance with that, and it's not in like a weird narcissistic way. Good. Feel it. It's awesome. Love that. Feel it in your heart, embody it, you know what I mean? And really just shine, do your thing, just shine, you know, right now, Leo. And the other thing with Saturn in your seventh, you could be getting really serious about relationships, and this could be showing you exactly where you are in relationships right now. Even though it's a full moon in the first house, there's just so much going on in your seventh. It looks like to me, Leo, with this, I just have to quickly say this Mercury in, you know, 0 degrees of your freaking seventh house, it just screams, you know, fresh awareness. Did not know this a week ago, did not know this a month ago, you know, like really just now kind of figured this out in regards to relationships, Leo. So, you know, do know that if you are a Leo ascendant, sun or moon, and you're having some really powerful just awareness moments, it's totally guided, it's totally like aligned at this time, Leo. And you know, it's okay. Whatever you're coming to the conclusion of, it's totally okay. Which leads me to the second thing. It's probably really life-shaking because the squaring of the nodes, and the fact that, you know, the North and the South node are square this, I talked about in the beginning. Again, make sure you see that if you didn't already. But the fact that they're squaring is really going to be just leveling you up big time, because this is on your personal, you know, your personal angular houses, Leo. And again, I'd have to see your chart personally to tell you the exact, you know, if this is, you know, to your degrees or whatever. But I mean, as far as signs go, this is on your axis, you know, on your midheaven, your IC, it's on your first and seventh house cusp, on those angular houses. And so those are big time houses that manifest, you know, big energy in the world. We talk about that in my astrology school program in depth, but they have critical insights into your life, and they are the most elevated houses in a chart in terms of what actually shows up in the world. Okay. And so the idea is that the North Node is entered officially Taurus, which for you, Leo, is your 10th. And you know at this time you're called, like, you know, there's a legacy, either, you know, there's a legend within you that you have to work toward and fulfill, or you know that there's a goal, an archetype that you have to become. You understand, Leo, that like there's a certain narrative, a certain chronicle, a certain story that you need to have told about you by the time you transition out of this rodeo. Do you know what I mean? And I think that like for you as a Leo, this is really showing up and shifting you into newer states of consciousness, because at the same time you have that South Node in your fourth, and you're saying, you know, you're probably sitting there reflecting like, you know what, there are some deeper parts of my innermost self that are not aligned and really need to go, or they really need to shift. Okay. And Leo, if you're doing that and you're sitting there like, oh my God, how is she like reading me so well right now? First things first, astrology is real. You should get one of my special readings, which I have to remind you of at this moment in time. There's a SYNASTRY report reading, Leo, available now for a very limited amount of time. Okay. This is going to be happening through the 22nd of February. Reach out to me at wisdomdrops@gmail.com. All Z's. Information is down below if you want to get that. This is a reading for 1 hour of my undivided attention. Very great deal, $100 to read your chart and somebody else's chart. Okay, the story of your souls, the story of your lifetime together. Very interesting. I love doing SYNASTRY readings. I'm going to use your SYNASTRY chart. I'm also going to read your composite chart, Leo. Between the two, I'm really nerding in with you, and it's going to be fun. Okay. Looking forward to that. Okay. And make sure you like this video if you haven't already, Leo, and subscribe if you're new here. Oh, the last thing for you, Leo, I will say, just know that that fourth house, South Node, you might also feel called back to the land right now. And you can also really honor that in the next year and a half, and like use that as a source of strength. If you're a Leo who owns property or has property, you've been having property, just know it's really good to like settle into that energy right now as a launching point for all that 10th house chronicle story of your life stuff we talked about. Okay. So Thank you, Leo. Moving on to Virgo. Hey, Virgo. What's up, Virgo? Okay, Virgo, if you are a Virgo ascendant, sun, or moon, this is what's good. By the way, if you're leaving timestamps, thank you so much to the Virgos in the room. Virgos, let's go on and talk all about you as it relates to this, okay? First things first, you got the full moon in your 12th. So you're probably really reflecting on some spiritual stuff right now and releasing, keyword, releasing, Virgo. You're releasing and you're aware of the psychological kind of psyche garbage trash bin that needs to be taken out. Like that's really what's being illuminated, is almost, I'm seeing it as like a psychic kind of like karmic kind of like what's the word, like just like a gunk bin, like where all the gunk goes from all that. It's like the reservoir bin, like the digestive system of the body, you know what I mean? It's like that's really an awareness point for you. It's like your psychic body right now, Virgo, has a garbage bin that needs to go to the compost or needs to go to the garbage, you know what I mean? So it's like that's what your brain is like working through under this lunation. And at that same time, you have a great ability to tap into those ethers and maybe, you know, your personal spiritual guides or a sense of goddess, God within divine divinity, you know, in your consciousness. I think it's a great time for that. So my Virgos out there who are on that yoga vibe, that meditation vibe, enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. And really, you know, spend time in the metaphorical or literal ashram, as it may be. Another thing with that, Virgo, is that you have that Aquarius house lit up too with that Saturn, Sun, Mercury. Okay. And that for you is your 6th house. So do mind your health, Virgos. It is not the time. Yeah, I don't really need to tell you out of all the signs, but sometimes Virgos, you know, it just depends. There's 2 different major types I've seen. A lot of times, you know, Virgo does what all the time, right? Virgo, I think, does what Virgo thinks is best. And that's what I like a lot about that sign. But because they're very practical. You're very practical and very proactive and pragmatic people, and humble in that you understand the functionality of certain things that other people don't really seem, or other signs, I should say, don't really seem to kind of comprehend. But what I say with that, Virgo, is a caveat of caution. I want you to just be aware with your health at this time. Sometimes Virgos aren't the best eaters, even though you're associated with nutrition. Sometimes you actually like eat very sparsely, or you eat very like non-nutritiously and kind of like more just like a very like minimalistic get by level. So I think like this with Saturn there, it could also be depleting your appetite right now, but it could also just be like an indicator that you need to get serious about providing like actual nourishment and nutrition to yourself, because Mercury, your ruler, your patron goddess, God, if you will, in the heavens, is also there in your 6th at this time, freshly so, at 0 degrees, if you notice that. So I just want to put you up on it, Virgo. Want to make sure you know that that's an astrological indicator, you know, that Mercury moving into your 6th house like that, that you just personally, as a Mercury ruled sign, probably want to pay more attention to that indicator, that omen. And the fact that this is square Virgo, the nodes, let's get into that part of the interpretation for you now. That's really going to show you as a Virgo a lot of energy in a good way, because that North node just entered that 9th house of Taurus, and that South node is in the 3rd. So what you have available to you is a sort of reliance on all those Virgo brains, similar to your Mercury ruled cousins, Gemini, who have a 3rd house activation with that lunation in Leo. You Virgos have a 3rd house activation with the South node transiting Scorpio. Okay, so this is the I've mastered this already, or I'm getting energy here just naturally, like it's kind of all that just comes naturally to me, you know, point. That's in the 3rd house right now for y'all for a minute. But the fact that it's squaring this lunation is elevating your awareness of it. So if you feel like your brain is working really well, you feel like your thoughts are really flowing, you feel like your words are really going, you can really say what you want to say and really relay messages and options out into the world that you're thinking about in an articulated, specified kind of direction, because Scorpio is your 3rd house. Okay, Virgo, ascendant, sun, or moon, you know, right now that is a possibility, and that's a great thing. So over the next year and a half, or just right now over the next month, be aware of what's coming up as this full moon squares these nodes for yourself. Be aware of like how you can turn all that stuff into a force of sustained, prolonged joy with that north node in Taurus, the 9th house, asking you, how do you turn that, Virgo? Okay, you have that gift, you have that 3rd house proclivity right now, but how do you turn that into a gift? How do you turn that right into that manifestation of joy, north node in the 9th house, to better represent your belief systems, your philosophies, and your ultimate source of fulfillment, really, in this sort of philosophical sense, because the Uranus here in your 9th house is really awakening you to some things you really weren't up on before, Virgo, and didn't really even know existed. So Virgo people, I am offering a great special $100 for 1 hour, okay, SYNASTRY report readings. This is an extremely good deal. I've been in the astrology game for 12 years, and I love giving SYNASTRY readings to tell you the story of your relationship, whether that's a friend, a homie, or somebody romantic. WizdomDropz@gmail.com, all Z's. Information is down below, and I'm currently doing those only through the 22nd of February. So don't delay. Make sure you book that, get that in the system now, so that I can give you your personal customized reading for 1 hour of undivided astrological report, okay, on you and a special someone. So Virgo, make sure you like this video, and if you got here all the way to the end, leave me a green leaf, Virgo, because that's so cute. And you subscribe if you're new, of course. Thanks for all the support, Virgo, with the likes and the comments and just being groovy. With that said, let's move on to Libra. Libra, hey Libra, ascendant, sun, and moon people. Okay, so Libra, first things first, you have this full moon in your 11th house, okay? This is a beautiful house to have a full moon in. A full moon in the 11th implies that you as a Libra are going to have opportunities with your networks to maybe grow or expand, or maybe like have different networking kind of opportunities or ability to create with people, not even like friends, just people you're associated with at a very like surface level or a sort of title-based level. You could sort of have those affiliations work in a creative way to kind of produce something out in the world that's really beautiful or really healing from a heart-centered perspective for all parties involved, and it could serve the larger group as well at the same time, because this 11th house energy there. So there's that. Another thing that you want to think about as this 5th house energy is lit up with that Saturn over there. So you could be thinking, Libra, how do I turn my passion projects into a more serious endeavor? Or how do I turn my craft that I have a lot of, skill with, because Mercury is there, into something more serious that can maybe last a longer amount of time and be a more sustained source of maybe fuel for your system, if you will, right? As a Libra, because you have that 5th house Saturn and Sun and Mercury going on in Aquarius right now. So that's a thing to think about, Libra. And the other thing is, with the nodes being squared here for you, that's really showing up and manifesting more energy around a certain sense of, how do I turn my personal value that's gained through my connections with other people, South Node in the 2nd in the sign of Scorpio, okay, into a larger benefit and to a greater benefit, okay, for your personal North Node in Taurus, okay, 8th house, kind of like collaboration. So there's a sort of like merging of resources there. There's a certain source of an awareness of something, maybe at like a psychological level, because the 8th house is very psychological, and how you can maybe translate some of that psychological interesting downloads into self-worth realizations. And with that South Node that's already coming in the 2nd house there for you, is probably propelling you in that direction as it is. So I think that that's something that Libra, Ascendant, Sun, and Moon people are probably going to be dealing with, looking at this chart over the next you know, at least month, and with the nodes there, year and a half. So enjoy that, Libra. I hope it's really healing and constructive for all people involved. And Libra, the sign of relationships, I am offering limited time synastry report readings for you and a special someone for the sake of love. I'm doing one for Scorpios as well, but for just everybody, synastry reports, you and anybody in your life. I want to help you bring more clarity to your relationship, to your karmic story at a cosmic level. So 1 hour, $100, incredible deal. I've been an astrologer for 12 years. This is a great deal. I would take advantage of this if I was you and trying to understand a relationship at a deeper level. You can reach out to me at WizdomDropz@gmail.com, all Z's. That information is down below, and you can see it in a comment as well that I left down below. So Libras, thank you for liking this video. Thank you for commenting and subscribing if you're new here. And if you got here all the way to the end, Libra, leave me a diamond, just because. Okay. Scorpios, Scorpio people, ascendant, sun, or moon. Okay, Scorpio people, let me tell you, I already did a horoscope just on this for you specifically, but what I did not do, Scorpio, was the nodes, okay, squaring this new moon, or excuse me, this full moon. So Scorpios, you can definitely check out the larger video I did just for you, but this video is giving you something that one doesn't, and that we're talking about the nodes, okay, squaring. So you have the nodes in your 1st and 7th house. This is absurd. This is great in a certain type of way. The great way is that the South Node in the 1st house can help you overcome things about your Scorpio energy that you previously haven't been able to. That might help you get through something within yourself, within your scorpionic vibration that you weren't previously aware of. It could cue you up to things that you weren't even previously aware of in a way that's natural, in a way that doesn't require like a lot of like struggle, right, to like get through. So that's really nice as a Scorpio. The other thing is that the North Node being in the 7th house, you might find some fated relationship comes right now with this you know, square energy to the full moon. I mean, no joke, because the North Node in the 7th can bring life partnerships. The North Node in the 7th can bring just major changes within relationships, Scorpio. So you could definitely be experiencing some of that. Just be aware that with the square energy to the full moon, you could be having more energy. You are, period, having more energy around you. So don't be, you know, kind of worried, or don't be concerned when you notice that. Just kind of notice it, just observe it, and use it constructively. And if you feel that it's getting volatile, because, you know, Scorpio is ruled by Mars, I got to let you know this, you know, make sure you have a healthy way for that to manifest, whether it's going to the gym, or you're going to go to the punching bag, or you're going to go, you know, whatever it is. Just make sure that there's like a constructive outlet, because there's a lot of chi in the air right now, and it's good to get it out constructively. Okay, so Scorpio, I definitely want to put you up on the specials I'm offering. One is specifically for you, 1 hour reading for $100. I've been an astrologer for 12 years. This is an incredible deal I would take advantage of if I were you and trying to understand myself and my Scorpio energy at a deeper level. So this is 1 hour of me and my undivided attention looking at your personal Scorpio blueprint and understanding how your Scorpio signature ticks in your chart, understanding what about your chart, okay, is unique to you. How do you use that Scorpio vibration to your personal greatest good based on your chart? It tells us a lot more, right? So I'm excited to offer you that. WizdomDropz@gmail.com, all Z's. It's down below in a comment and in the description box. And that is also alongside happening with a synastry reading, Scorpio. So if you have a special someone, whether that's a romantic somebody or a non-romantic somebody who you just want to understand your relationship at a deeper level with, I am offering those readings as well for only 1 hour right now, for the name of love, in the sake of love. WizdomDropz at gmail.com, all Z's. And Scorpio, if you're still here with me, make sure you like this video, comment at the end. Let's see. what should I ask you? A flame, because you're on fire, baby. You're fire. You know what I'm saying? A flame. Leave me a flame in the comments down below. And, you know, make sure you subscribe if you're new here. Cool. Thanks, Scorp. On to Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Well, Sagittarius, what do we got? First things first, Sag, you have a full moon happening in your 9th house. That is amazing. Sagittarius, I'm just pouring some tea if you can hear that over here. But Sagittarius, you are really going to be having some full moon action going on with joy and travel, even if you are a traveler, which, let's be real, I don't know if I've met, actually, I take it back. I definitely know at least a couple Sagittarians, or one who's not so big on big globe trotting, but they have more like Saturn in their chart or whatever. But, you know, most of y'all really are. I know many Sag people who are just globe trotters. You just can't get over it. So if you are getting the travel, you know, bug as a Sagittarius, it's a great time. Set your sails far and wide, Sag. It's definitely like, you know, you're being asked to do it. Just do it. It's a great time. And, you know, likely I would have to read your personal chart for further insight, but just as a general reading, of course, that's a great time. With the 9th house there being the indicator of faraway lands and travels and kind of higher philosophies and just different cultures, philosophies, Sag. Excuse me while I take a sip of tea. Yeah, I think it's really, that was a good chai. And speaking of other cultures, and I think that you know, under this, that 9th house is going to be illuminating you to really like what you feel is positive in the world. And maybe you've been feeling like you haven't been able to quite see it lately, and you're a Sag, so that's really crappy for you, you know. But maybe now you're seeing it like, oh wow, I can totally see it because that moon is in the 9th house, you know. And now you're like able to do it. Now you're able to move forward and build a higher minded kind of awareness of your belief systems in a way that feels joyous and prosperous. So I think that that's cool, Sag, and you're mentally getting really grounded on your thoughts. You're probably really disciplined in your mind right now as a Sagittarius. It might be kind of an interesting experience for you because you're not so used to that as a Sagittarius necessarily. Depends on the chart, but you know, usually not. You're more exploratory in your mind, which is part of your je ne sais quoi. But really, I think like this is a time to be more serious in your mind. And in being serious in your mind, it opens you up to this philosophical play. So I really like that. I feel like there's a certain oxymoronic, but really revelatory quality, Sag, for you right now. As a Sag, I think that also with these nodes, the nodes being the North node in your 6th house and the South node in your 12th, you're really being asked to use whatever spiritual gifts or connection to the universe that you feel like you natively have as this sort of globe-trotting Sag or philosophical mind, you know, trotter of a Sagittarius, to your benefit when it comes to applying it in your day-to-day life, in your mundane day-to-day existence. So allow that to be habitual and allow it to propel you forward through habits. North node in the 6th house, you'll probably find that that sort of spiritualization really helps you get things practically done at this time, and also gain more value around more practical, maybe even skill sets, with the 6th house being illuminated there, and not necessarily the most desirable or sexy of you know, skill sets, but definitely practical and functional, because the 6th house is about a sort of humble you know, inner workings of something. In the lower vibration, I just want to make sure that y'all are totally aware that whatever you're putting, you know, into your body with like the foods that you're consuming at this time, Sagittarius, Ascendant, Sun, or Moon people especially, is going to have like an interestingly amplified effect on you. I would say definitely this month, with Venus being in your 2nd house. You know, just reading into that for a second, but throughout the next year and a half. So if you are a Sag, just know that if you are feeling like you need to up that and that is really resonating with you, it's a great time to take action accordingly. Sagittarius, I'm offering very limited time readings, okay? 1 hour of my undivided attention as an astrologer on your chart and somebody special in your life. This is called a composite reading or a SYNASTRY reading. I use both of those charts, okay, to look at you and your person, whether that's a romantic person or a platonic person. It is only for a limited amount of time through the 22nd of February. WizdomDropz@gmail.com is how you get a hold of me for that. And it's only $100. It's a steal of a deal. And I really hope that you go ahead and take advantage of that service that I'm offering right now, to offer you that insight for you and a special someone. And if you know a Scorpio, or you want to understand your Scorpio ascendant, sun, or moon energy, I'm also offering that for a 1 hour limited amount of time. So let's go on. And Sag, if you got here to the end, make sure you like this video and subscribe if you're new here, and leave me what should you leave me, Sagittarius? Leave me a star, because it's just so cute. Leave me a star in the comments down below, Sag. Okay, Capricorn, it's time for you, Caps. Capricorn, ascendant, sun, and moon people, if you are a Capricorn, this is your report. So Capricorn, Leo, okay, Leo is this is your, oh my gosh, can you believe it? 8th house. What is that going to show you? I don't know. Hopefully something about investments, Capricorn, knowing you. Hopefully something about other people's resources that are coming to the table for you at this time, or maybe how you can leverage a certain debt load to a certain outcome. I don't know, but something to do with resources. The 2nd and the 8th house, your worth, your value. You're coming off of a new moon in your 2nd house, which is all about your value, your ability to make value, your ability to put financial kind of like qualifiers upon a self-value, or define a self-value. But now is like a ripening of that. Now you're seeing something, it almost complements whatever you were pulled into awareness of a couple weeks ago. It kind of complements that, and also gives you a more robust figure of what the situation is. It gives you a more robust picture of what's going on, as well as kind of cueing you into like a different side of what you were seeing insights on in this note 2 weeks ago, okay, at the new moon. So that's a thing to consider, Capricorn. Another thing to consider is that it's a good time to consider investment. It's a great time to consider asking for other resources if you need it. And it's a great time to realize proactively how you're going to even manage those sorts of things in the fullness of time. So the other thing though is that those nodes, or the North Node just moved into your 5th house, which is crazy. We like that a lot for you. The South Node is in your 11th. Not a bad thing. Let's talk about that South Node for a second, because it could be tricky as this squares. The South Node in 11th, there might be a loss in relationship squaring that 8th house moon to your networks of some sorts, or you could be transforming what feels like a certain dream of yours. You could be coming to a deeper kind of psychologically derived awareness of what that is for you at this time, okay? And that is really going to be showing up in a big way, whatever it is for you, because of that square energy. So just be aware of that. And then with the North Node in the 5th, you're being called into a certain like creative prowess. You're supposed to get in and do your creative, production based activities right now. And also things that make you feel joyful and pleasurable and playful and youth-like. And really it's like at the playhouse, like where you go to enjoy yourself, whatever that is to you. So this sort of, childlike joy that people can find through various activities that they enjoy. So, everybody is different, but with Taurus there for you, Capricorn, and the North Node being there, it's your time as a Capricorn ascendant, sun, or moon to allow this, Venusian presence that you find yourself with at the moment. I have to just mention, you have Venus and Mars conjuncting your sign. So you're feeling very impassioned. You're feeling very, you got the energy, you're feeling very like, motivated. And then with Pluto being there, you're definitely called to transform. And it's not even called, you just are. You can't help but transform. And Mercury entering, that Aquarius for you, that Mercury at 0 degrees is, in, the other Saturn ruled sign. It's calling you to really it's giving you information. I mean, it's giving you information. Mercury is the deliverer of information, right? If you know Hermes, right, in the ancient world. And so he, she, right, they're going into your second house of value, Capricorn, where you just had that new moon. So it's no mistake. It's all like by design, you know. I think like the main message I'm trying to really draw your attention to as a Capricorn is that you have an ability to create right now in ways that could express yourself more personally and deeply than you could have ever like hoped for previously, because you have so much planetary kind of support with this Mars and Venus conjunction and the Pluto there in your sign to transform, like to allow your energy, to allow your creative power to transform self, because this is all in the first house of Capricorn. Okay. And then you have that North Node on top of that. Okay. In the fifth, you have the South Node in the 11th. So you can kind of pull your talents from your networks. You can pull your aspirations and gifts that you've already kind of conceptualized in yourself to benefit your creative ability. And at the same time, it's all being like activated by like, how do I use other people's resources and what they've already invested in me and what they will continue to invest in me to get, you know, my ultimate outcome and to ultimately provide value, Capricorn, because you want to ultimately provide value. You know, that's really kind of your motivation, generally speaking. It's all relative, but anyway. Yeah, that's my reading for Capricorn. Capricorn, if you got here to the end of that, make sure you leave me a mountain in the description box down below, in the comments, I should say. And I'm offering you a reading, Capricorn, for a very limited amount of time. This is a SYNASTRY report reading for you and a special someone in your life. If you have somebody who you are romantically connected with or non-romantically connected with, and you want to understand your relationship at a deeper, more karmic, cosmic level, I'm offering for a very limited amount of time 1 hour readings. I have been in the astrology game for 12 years, okay, and practicing like personally, okay, 12 years. And that is something I'm very excited to offer you, Capricorn. It is a steal of a deal. I hope you take advantage of my services. It's for a very limited amount of time. WizdomDropz@gmail.com. Okay, it's down below, all Z's, WizdomDropz. Okay, it's down below if you want to go ahead and use that. Thanks, Capricorn, for the likes, for subscribing if you're new here, and leave me a little mountain in the comments because you're a little goat or a big goat. Bah. Okay, moving right along to Aquarius. Hey, Aquarius. So Aquarius, ascendant, sun, or moon people, this is your reading. Okay, well, you have the full moon in your 7th house. So this is a huge freaking deal. Aquarius says, my God, my goddess. Full moon in the 7th house, your relationships are showing you some stuff that you never even were aware of, Aquarius. You literally were like not aware of this. And a couple weeks ago, when we had that new moon in your sign, you probably had some really powerful revelations about yourself, okay? Because that's the 1st house. But now it's time that those revelations are reflected through your relationships, because that full moon just came around 180 degrees to your 7th house. And now you see it like you didn't. Now you understand it like you couldn't. Now you can actually witness it like it never was even witnessable before. You understand? There's this very like Houdini almost sort of thing where it's like it wasn't there, but now it is. Like, oh, there it is. Like you didn't know, but now you do, you know? And so that's what's going on with Aquarius. I think a lot of y'all are kind of affiliated, I want to say, naturally with that energy, because you're just kind of Uranian. You're kind of quirky. You're kind of, you know, you do your own thing. You're kind of like, you know, whatever, I do me, you do you. That's cool. And that's what's respectable and cool about Aquarius. I think I'm biased. I really like Aquarius, generally speaking. But you know, every sign has its low vibrations. I'll just leave it at that, friends. But you know, with you, Aquarius, I think that this insight with relationships is really getting you to a deeper level, you know, of awareness. And the square here with the energy of the nodes is really personal, just like for Leo, just like for Scorpio and Taurus. You are the only signs who it is this personal for, because this is the angular houses in your charts. And with the North Node in your 4th, Aquarius, the South Node, okay, over there in your 10th, okay, this is really getting into how are you leveraging what you've already built in the world, the kind of like profession or labels that you've had associated with yourself, right, throughout your life thus far. How are you leveraging that? That's what you're being called to do the next year and a half. And it's specifically this month, you're being called to just have an awareness, be open. Really, you don't need to do anything. You just need to be kind of open. If you want to do anything at all, you don't necessarily even need to do it. I don't want you to think you have to do anything to receive what is, because spirit works in many ways. Let me just leave it at that. Who are we to say? But I don't think that you need to like really need to do it, you know, but I'm just saying, I think you'll see more of, okay, Aquarius, and you can be aware of this energy and play with it if you so wish. That's really why I do these readings, for your own highest and greatest good, for the highest and greatest good of all, you know, that's what I do. But point being, this kind of like nodal energy here, you're really taking that 10th house legacy that you've already built, and you could be a younger person, but you've already built some sort of public awareness about yourself, in any way, you know, that is. It could be as something as simple as your own little page or whatever, or something as complex as a long, robust career that you've worked decades through. You know, it really doesn't matter. The point is, there's something there in that 10th house for you as an Aquarius. And that 10th house for you, Aquarius, based on your chart, that you're being called to lean into that and say like, hey, you know what, I can turn that energy into something good for myself at a private home-based level. I think a lot of Aquariuses right now, you're either going to be trying to work from home, or you're going to be trying to gain home energy, move homes, redefine home, go into some better type of home living situation. With that North Node in your 4th house as an Aquarius, it's going to be an undeniable sort of, you know, calling that you're just, it's the cosmic telephone's going to get picked up, you know what I mean, one way or another, any way you toss the dice. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that if you suddenly are, maybe even it's through a partnership, maybe your partner says, you know what, I was thinking, what do you think about moving? I was thinking about moving. I don't like this place anymore. And your jaw could literally drop and be like, holy guacamole, like I've been secretly having that same thought and didn't say anything, or like whatever. This is a time where that sort of dynamic could totally play out, and within like a very limited amount of time, like a short amount of time, like a month of this lunation, you could find yourselves in a whole different situation. You could find yourselves like already figured exactly out where, I mean, just something crazy like that, like, because it was all fated, it was all sort of preordained. So that's a sort of Aquarius customized reading on that. Now, Aquarius, I am offering for a limited time, speaking of which, readings for SYNASTRY relationships. Okay, so if you have a special someone, Aquarius, you and a special somebody, I'm offering 1 hour readings for only $100. This is an incredible deal. I've been an astrologer for 12 years. Okay, so I'm bringing you all of that insight and readership and ability to your chart and your partner's chart, or whoever's chart, platonic whoever's chart, right, to understand your like relationship at a soul cosmic level and the story of y'all's, you know, incarnation as it's interwoven together. It's really groovy. WizdomDropz@gmail.com. The description box contains that information. The comments contain that information on how to reach me, and I really look forward to that. I hope that you take advantage of that service. It's only going on through the 22nd of February, Aquarius, so really it's a great deal. I encourage you to get in now and save some cash and enjoy. Okay, and if you got here to the end, Aquarius, leave me a snowflake, because y'all are associated with winter and it's been snowing and I like snow, so snowflake. All right, moving right along to Pisces. Oh, and thank you for liking and commenting and subscribing if you're new here, everybody. So Pisces, hi Pisces, ascendant, sun, or moon people. Pisces. Okay, Pisces, first things first, this full moon is happening in your 6th house. So your 6th house is all about your proactive hobbies, habits, health, lifestyles. Okay, sort of awareness around what are you doing day in, day out, where do you go repeatedly, what sort of habits do you have where you could almost just go through a checklist and just, you know, weekly, daily say, yeah, there's always these 10, 12 things on my list, right, that happen at a certain regular, you know, scheduled, consistent basis. Okay, so for Pisces folk, you are coming into an awareness around that, all of that. Anything that is repeated and on your checklist or on your radar repeatedly, anything that you find yourself engaging with consistently, okay, Pisces, habits, hobbies, and health routines is sort of a way of remembering this and a sort of all encompassing statement, right? So think about that. Think about what awarenesses are coming up for you around that. If you are going to go and change your diet, say you are changing your diet to be plant-based, maybe that's amazing. That's a great way of showing up with a 6th house full moon, or even just something as simple and non-committal as like a cleanse, right? Like a week-long, 2-week-long, whatever cleanse, like trying that sort of eating for an unlimited amount of time, that's fine too. And it's actually a great way to help you heal your like sense of health at this time. If you are a Pisces who's been struggling with health and mental health, okay, I want to make sure that you're aware you can go ahead and change, I don't want to say change it all overnight, but you can change a base point, right? You can change something by going into the 6th house and really dedicating to some healthy habit. It could be something very small, something very consistent, though. That's the key, is something very consistent, right? It could be like you're going to do 11 sit-ups every day. I mean, something really simple, right? In repetition could be really beneficial to you. So I just want to make sure that you're aware of that. The other thing, Pisces, is that the nodes here with this square energy, the nodes are going to be showing up for you. They are showing up for you in this specific house, okay? And that's really going to be showing you more energy there as the square progresses. The specific house for you as a Pisces is your 3rd house. So this is the North node in the 3rd house, okay? South node in the 9th house, Pisces. So you have, you know, this North node in your 3rd. You're being called to develop your skills right now, Pisces. You're being called to develop what sort of ways do you have available to you as a Pisces to communicate. You're definitely being called to up your communication. If there was ever a time to learn a better way of expressing yourself, if you've been called to maybe learn what, and that could be anything from like, maybe it's a program, like maybe it's a software, maybe it's a you know, some type of skill in that's more digital with the 3rd house, or maybe it's local and maybe it has to do very oppositely with your hands. You know, the 3rd house being Taurus for you, this could totally be a potter's wheel in a local community. 3rd house is local. Taurus is clay of the earth, you know, and you have that disposited in the 11th of Capricorn, which is all to do with networks and positive affiliations. But without making it too customized of a reading, Pisces, I just want to say that, you know, that North node in the 3rd house is really an indicator that you're being called to develop your skill, you're being called to develop your craft, and you're really at the kind of end of the day, the baseline takeaway, you're being called to communicate and grow your communication skills and in really ways that you haven't before, okay, Pisces? And it's going to happen naturally. And I think that a lot of you, for especially over this full moon, you'll be having a little bit easier of a time because there is a lot of spiritualization energy just naturally within Pisces energy. You do have Jupiter and Neptune in your sign right now, Pisces, so it is helpful for you in this process. And you at the same time have you know, that South node in the 9th. So it's really pulling from your own inner belief systems, your own inner spiritual connection that is already kind of, generally speaking, more developed in Pisces. Not always, don't worry if it's not, but right now with Jupiter and Neptune, you're probably able to tap into it a little bit more easily. So there's that. Pisces, I am offering for a very limited amount of time a 1-hour special horoscope reading for you and a special somebody in your life, okay? Whether that's a romantic partner or a platonic just family member who you want to understand deeper your relationship, you want to know what are you cosmically here to do together, why has it been what it has been, and how do you move forward to the most constructive, you know, outcomes. I have been in the astrology game for 12 years and I'm super excited to offer you this incredible deal. 1 hour for $100, okay? WizdomDropz, all Z's at gmail.com to schedule that. It's a pre-recorded thing. I'm not going to do this live, but it will be entirely customized customized to your chart, okay, and your person's chart. Very excited to offer it for you, Pisces. The information for that is down below in the description and also the comments, okay? Now, Pisces, if you got here to the end with me, leave me a little fish in the comments because fish are cute. Okay, moving on to Aries. Hi, Aries. Aries. Oh, and Pisces. I always seem to forget that. Like and comment and subscribe if you're new here. Jeez Louise. Okay, Aries. Hi, Aries. You should do that too while you're watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe if you're new here. And I gotta say it at the beginning, because y'all Aries people are spontaneous like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just gonna let you know, Aries, while we are here at the beginning of your session, that I am offering limited time 1-hour readings entirely customized to you and your special somebody, or your platonic special somebody, right? Your homie, your friend, your family member, right? Your parent, your child. I'm here for you, your sibling, you know what I'm saying, to understand each other at a deeper level, at a karmic soul cosmic level. Aries, this is a hell of a deal. 1 hour long reading, $100 with my 12 years of astrology expertise on your specific charts, okay? WizdomDropz@gmail.com. The information is down below in the description, as well as the comment, Aries. Okay, so Aries, Ascendant, Sun, or Moon people, this is intense. Why is it intense? It's intense because it's a full moon in your 5th house. We love it. We love it. Full moon in the 5th is all about love, creation, romance, pleasure, a sort of fulfillment from creation, a sort of expression of love, a sort of expression of heart-centered just kind of passion, you know, a sort of playful kind of just you're a kid on a playground and you're just like running around like screaming with your arms, like it's all fun, you know, in games. So there's that. Love that. I think Aries people are just really going to be enjoying that. You might feel that Leo full moon in the 5th, Aries, you know, you're really called to be the center of attention. You're really called to put yourself on a stage. If you happen to be center stage right now, you are an Aries. You know, Rihanna is an Aries moon. I'm just saying, shine bright like a diamond, baby, because it's an Aries with the 5th house lit up. I mean, please, I'm like, that's so Aries. Like, you're in such Aries territory. It's like gonna be great. And you know, you could just be in awareness of how that is, how you want that to be for you, Aries. If that's not happening right now, there's no need to feel discouraged, but it's an awareness. If you get that awareness, Aries, make sure you write that down, because Mercury, penmanship, okay, is in the same house as Saturn, okay, which is the same sign the sun is opposing the moon with, aka the other side of this Leo full moon, okay? And that for you is your 11th house, Aries. It's all about your relationships in terms of that larger network, that larger group that you're a part of, that larger alignment, okay? And how you can really kind of, it'll naturally align. You'll see. I think a lot of that is naturally going to align for you. Just know there's an awareness there in that, okay? The other thing with the squaring of the nodes, the North Node is in your 2nd house. You are meant to hustle. The next year and a half, you are meant to build up your value. You are meant to build up your worth. You are going to be redefining your self-identity in terms of what you're worth and how you value yourself, your self-worth, yourself sort of like, what am I really worth? As an Aries, you don't really have to deal with that like too much. Like, you're nothing like your counterpart Libra in that way. But like, you know, every chart is different. You could be both a Libra and an Aries like me, or you could have, you know, any different compilation of energies. And sometimes Aries people aren't, you know, they often want to, the stereotype is Aries are so like badass. And a lot of times we are, let's be real. But a lot of times Aries is also just that child energy where they're just so innocent. And it's just like, dude, I'm just this innocent like being, you know what I mean? I'm just a fucking human, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how it feels like with Aries energy sometimes. So I think that as an Aries with that North Node in your 2nd house, your next year and a half is going to be powerful, honey bun. And also this next month, okay? Because you got that square activation with that North Node in the 2nd. So Aries, if you do get ideas on how to turn that creative prowess and, you know, Leonine kind of 5th house energy that natally exists within you as an Aries into a sort of economic kind of hustle, I deeply encourage you to Mercury in the 11th, write it down, and even let your community know, let your networks know, Aries, that this is something that you want to do, because you're going to see yourself through them manifesting in reflection, in alignment, right? So I'm really excited about that for you. And Aries, like this video if you haven't already. Limited time horoscope readings, only $100 for 1 hour of my undivided attention, okay? And this is for you and a special person, okay, Aries? WizdomDropz@gmail.com. All Z's information is down below. Only through the 22nd of February. And Taurus. Taurus, ascendant sun or moon people, what is up? Taurus is in the house. Okay, so Taurus, here's the thing. You got a full moon all the way over here in your fourth. You're coming into awareness around home. You're saying, maybe I should have done this differently at home. Maybe I should have chosen a different whatever in this home-based context. But at the same time, you're growing an awareness around a seriousness in your long-term kind of vision for yourself in the world and what you want to be known for. And so there's this sort of like, how do I leverage my home environment to reflect my long-term goals? Or how do I, turn what is already present and really vibing in my home space into fuel for what I want to see at a more public level in myself? So that's kind of going on as a dynamic in you, Taurus. You are very powerfully influenced right now. You, along with the other 3 fixed signs, okay, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio, all y'all are experiencing this in your angular houses. This is big energy. You're not going to be able to deny it. It's going to be so prominent in your life. It's really no running away. It's just a matter of dealing with it. And Taurus, I don't think there's a lot of reason for worry. I just think you're going to be manifesting a lot, and that serious things and serious reflections, and in a good way, serious things, right? In a good way, when you see that Saturn is in that 10th house in its own sign, okay, standing tall with the sun, you could see some owning up. You could be given more responsibility, Taurus, this next month. You could be coming into positions of leadership and power, Taurus, this next month. You might get a promotion. This is definitely promotion energy. Reading this chart, I think a lot of Tauruses are taking on deeper energies of leadership in their lives right now. And looking at this chart, it's very potent. And a lot of it is going to come through relationships that you didn't even know existed at that level, or maybe past relationships that you just forgot about, didn't think about. They're coming back now. Like, you just earned some karma credit with them, and they're coming back to bless you for like what feels like no apparent reason. So I think Tauruses could be really well positioned to really just advance themselves and to innovate. By all means, Taurus, you have Uranus with you in your sign, Taurus, ascendant, sun, and moon. So it is your time at this unique intersection where you not only have Uranus, but you have the North Node there, Taurus. Are you kidding me? Like, that's a lot of ability to level up. So if friendships or relationships that are meant to go right now, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You got to dust that off your shoulder and move on, because South Node in the 7th, you got a lot going on with that North Node in the 1st. And with Uranus squaring the Saturn, sun, and moon, you really are just coming to deeper insights. And you know what? That's good. And you're coming into truer levels of self in a big way, Taurus. So congratulations. I'm excited for that. Listen to those downloads. You're going to know everything I'm saying. You're probably going to be feeling like you already know exactly what I'm talking about. I just think that a lot of Tauruses are going to be really just doing good things and feeling good energy, and making surprising shifts, like very quickly, very surprising. Okay. With Uranus still at the party. I think you're not done, with the surprise. Okay. So yeah, Taurus, super limited amount of time, 1 hour synastry report readings, 1 hour, okay, for only $100. This is an incredible deal. I've been an astrologer for 12 years. If you want me to look at your chart and a special someone, whether that's a child of yours or your mother or your father or your sibling, whatever, or a special sweetie, okay, that is another thing that I'm offering right now for only $100. Okay, this is an amazing deal. WizdomDropz@gmail.com, all Z's. I'm super excited to do your personal customized report to help you kind of see what's the deal with this relationship and how to maybe deal with it constructively, okay, towards the highest and greatest good. Taurus, make sure you like this video and subscribe if you're new here, and go ahead and leave me do they have a bull emoji? Leave me a peace sign, Taurus. With that said, through next time, until next time, may the stars be with you. Peace.